I'm pro-life, yes.
Even in cases of incest and rape?
Yes.
Why?
Because this is a sort of a fundamental definitional question. If you believe life begins at conception, then regardless of the source of the life, it now has an independent interest in life. So that is not to minimize the tremendous evil of rape or incest. I believe rapists should be executed, frankly, or chemically castrated at best. But that's sort of a different question from the independent source of life and whether this.
It's your boy CJ. So today, oh man, I just saw the interview with Ben Shapiro in the Breakfast Club. Now, mind you, I'm not a Breakfast Club fan. I do not like their content. I do not like the host. I used to watch it back when it was Angela Yee was on there, and I would say back when I think when Birdman said all three of y'all or trio of y'all, that's when I was watched it. But yeah, I don't watch it. So I only watch it for Ben Shapiro because I know he's a talking points dude, right? And so I wanted to see what he was going to do up there because I'm not a fan of him either, but I know he's a debater type guy, and so I wanted to see what he was going to do, and he did exactly what I thought he was going to do. He dominated the conversation, and I mean, what I realized, and it's sad that the Breakfast Club didn't realize he studies his points, and he's well read, and so when you're talking to someone that's a talking points person, right, that debates, it's very hard to beat them if you're not a debater yourself. And so this whole time he was just kicking their butt. But I want to give you some of the reactions of the fans of the Breakfast Club. I'm not a fan, and I'm gonna let you hear what they had to say about it.
Shapiro interview on the Breakfast Club, and let's just say, regardless of how you feel about Ben Shapiro's opinions, I know he's Harvard educated. He showed it on the Breakfast Club. You could tell that Charlemagne and Lauren LaRosa were trying so hard to not to convince him, but try to get them to understand their perspective, and just it just came across as a horrible attempt. He was just standing his ground, explaining how he came to this line of thinking, and it was just I can't even explain. Charlemagne was trying to get him to basically admit to what Israel is doing in with Palestinians is a genocide, and Bishop was like, no, it's not. The definition is this. They're not doing that. It's not that. They asked him about his beliefs in abortion, and he was like, why he's pro-life, and they tried to explain why they're pro-choice, and he was just like, the way he just broke it down, I'm pro-life because of this, but if you ask me to say, hey, get rid of abortions completely, but we're going to leave abortions acceptable for women who have been, assaulted or incest, he's like, I'll make that trade. And it's like they just wanted to make him pro-choice, period. Even with that, he just no, I'm not. Everything they were trying to challenge him on, he just was he wasn't dismissing it, but he was just no, no, that's not the way I think. That's not what I believe. This.
Another problem with this is that, their base was ready for this. They wanted to destroy Ben Shapiro. And it's none of them on there are debaters, right? Because a lot of people were like, this dude, he had said, oh, they're not, equipped to keep up with him. I don't think it's that. I just think that when you're a debater, your mind is different because your mind is a computer. So however you train your computer, right, is how you're going to attack the situation. So he's programmed to go into every scenario as a debater. So he's came at situations where he had to defend his point from all different angles. And then if you've never have to do that before, when you're talking to him, it's going to seem like you're a fish out of water, which they were, right? Here goes another fan.
This club had no business platforming Ben Shapiro. And it's not because I don't believe you should ever platform conservative voices. It's just that they wasn't prepared to go back and forth with Ben Shapiro. Like, the guy is a Harvard-trained lawyer that does nothing else but think and talk about conservative political talking points. And therefore, he ran circles around them. Like, DJ Envy, anytime there's an intellectual conversation, he just checks out. Lauren, God bless her heart, she tried as much as she could. And Charlemagne is just way too diplomatic, right? And I get why he is. And it's the reason he has such a large platform himself, because he doesn't upset the establishment or anybody too much. But when somebody like Charlemagne concedes Ben Shapiro's points, it makes Ben Shapiro seem like he has legitimate points. Like, he got Lauren and Charlemagne to agree that 6-week abortion bans are a good idea. Listen, Breakfast Club, if you are going to have somebody like Ben Shapiro or Candace Owens on your show, you have to make sure that somebody like Tesla Figaro is present, or Nina Turner, or Cornel West, or somebody who can go toe-to-toe with Ben Shapiro. Because otherwise, people who are apolitical and aren't nerds like myself, who also think about this shit all day, they're going to hear somebody like Ben Shapiro, and they're going to hear you concede his point and think that he does have a good point, and then go down some super dark conservative rabbit hole. Listen, I love the Breakfast Club. Like, I absolutely love.
Oh man. So, pretty much don't have him on because y'all not on his level. Like I said before, I don't believe that. I believe when you have certain people on for certain things, you need to research, right? You need to research. When I do these videos, we have to research, because I don't want to say something that's incorrect, and then a lot of times I'll just say something is my opinion. You have to research. So it's really I don't want to attack them for trying, because this is actually a great idea. Maybe they should have had someone up there, so maybe Breakfast Club could have been a host. Then they have someone up there that could actually challenge him, right? Or they could all, took a month or 2 weeks to study up on his talking points so they could figure out how to at least challenge him a little bit. This last brother was the best one. The last one was the best one right here.
Just out here getting my moon water that I had set out.
What the fuck is moon water? Bro, I cannot deal with you crystal ass motherfucker. I hate you.
But I was thinking something that I really wanted to kind of address. And see, this is why shows like The Breakfast Club, I'm gonna keep it real. Shows like The Breakfast Club, which are entertainment-based shows. I appreciate what they're trying to do by talking about various topics, because they're trying to expand their base. From a business perspective, I get it. Because these shows have black hosts, and are they helping the black community? Absolutely not. They're hurting the black community, like immensely hurting the black community. And why? Why do I say that? There was a discussion with Ben Shapiro. There was not enough pushback. There were not enough legitimate questions for him to be able to face. And the thing is like, what I wish they would do, let me just start with the solution. What I wish people like Charlemagne would do is be humble enough to say, I am not a professional journalist. I'm not Tom Brokaw. So this is not what I do, because that's the way it used to be. If you wanted to have a serious conversation about a serious topic, you went and got Barbara Walters, you went and got Tom, like, you know what I'm saying? You went and got the best.
I'm making the face because, okay, we're in an era where I don't know how old he is. We're in an era where people, right? Stephen A. Smith he's been on like political platforms. Stephen A. Smith, the dude that doesn't even know basketball, is now in the political arena, like, and is doing politics, like, content. Like, I don't know where you've been, bro. Like, I don't know where you've been, bro. Like, that way of thinking is over with. And I actually agree with him. You should get people that know how to debate and know how to combat talking points. But that way of thinking is finished.
To try to find the answers. I wish there would be some humility to say, hey, that's not really my lane. That's not really what I do. I'm trying to open up the door for these conversations, but that's not what I do. So open up the panel to your guests to start submitting questions for these people. Joe Biden got away without too much pushback. Ben Shapiro.
I said that. No, I have some people in my comments saying, nah, man. Nah, Charlemagne didn't do that to Joe Biden. Hillary Clinton got away with saying she carried hot sauce in her bag. Around the same time, Beyonce, right, had that song where she had talked about having hot sauce in her bag. I don't know.
Got away without enough pushback. Like, there are not people coming to the space. They're coming to your spaces knowing that they're going to get softball pitches. With that being said, here's something that I find very, 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 very interesting. That people like Ben Shapiro, when they talk about Israel and all of these things, and the one part that they really leave out when they try to compare, especially the success of the Jewish community to the lack of success in the Black American community. They teach you about Hitler and what he did to the Jews. They teach you about the Holocaust. What they don't teach you about is what happened afterwards. They just tell you about the Nuremberg trials. What they don't tell you about is denazification. They don't tell you about denazification. Now, what is denazification? Denazification was where everything they had went into changing the mindset that people had about being a Nazi. Everything, including...
And this goes back to what I said before. If you're not going to research, get someone up there that can actually go back and forth and kind of push back. I only found this out because I looked this up, by the way. Let's keep it real. Keeping it real.
Getting rid of their leaders, constant programming, shame campaigns to make people ashamed and afraid of being a Nazi, right? Why? Because one, they wanted to be able to show the Jewish community, one, we do support you, we do have your back, right? But secondly, what they wanted to be able to do is say, we can't have a society where this kind of thing exists. Now, here's the difference between there and the Black American community. Where was the denazification after slavery? There was none. That's why you had Jim Crow. Where was the denazification after the Civil Rights Movement in the 1960s? There was none. That's why you have what you have today. There was no demonization or no shaming of how Black people were treated. There was no deprogramming. It was just kind of, the war is over, life is usual. And it didn't, and that's never going to work. And they knew it wasn't going to work. That's why they made sure they didn't do it that way with the Jewish community. And
I can tell you, watching that one clip, I learned more than watching the whole Ben Shapiro Breakfast Club interview. In that one clip, I learned more. I mean, I already knew Ben Shapiro was talking points. I already knew Breakfast Club was going to try really hard to go back and forth for him. And I knew they were going to lose, not because they're not intelligent, not because they don't have a capability. It's just that that's not what they do. Like he said, it's not what they do. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just they're fish out of the water. And like I said before, we're in an era where people are doing things that back in the day they would be laughed at. Like having people like that on your platform, right? And like trying to debate him is like back in the, like they would have laughed. That probably would have never even got set up, to be honest with you, right? It would have never got set up. Or like I said, the Breakfast Club would host it, but actually have someone that could go back and forth. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. Bro, the Breakfast Club fandom is insane, bro. They so upset. There are people who are saying, yo, you shouldn't even platform this guy. And it's like, I mean, listen, he has different points and it makes for good conversation. And so I learned something. I hope you did too. It's CJ. We out.